The champ is back. It's gonna be a boring video. I don't got time to make live videos all day, every day. But it's gonna be a good one. Pay attention. So I found this channel randomly, the Functional Melancholic, right? And I don't really leave too many comments, but when I do, you know it's straight fire. He talks about society, right? How like things have really changed. And you know, I don't want to be a party pooper, but you know, some would say not for the best. You gotta look at the bright side of things, and things will always change. That is the one constant thing that will always be true in life. Things will always be changing. But there is a undebatable fact that society has completely changed. Some people would say because of technology, most likely, politics, the polarization in this country, immigration. I mean, the factors are just an endless list of different things, right? But things have changed. And especially if you're an OG, shout out to the OGs, the last Mohicans. Especially if you're like around that age of 35 to 45, you remember life before the smartphone. You remember life before all these apps, the Ubers and the Amazons and the social medias. You remember life before social media. So you remember what life was like. And it was a lot different, to say the least, right? So I left this comment. Go check out this channel. The Functional Melancholic. The Functional Melancholic. The world feels wrong because you're paying attention. And you can't help but pay attention. Or could you? We'll get to that in a minute. But because you have so much social media at your fingertips, before you had to go buy a newspaper, which nobody really did, unless they were like 60 years old, right? Otherwise, you knew what was going on in your local town or your local state, but you really didn't know too much. You know, you saw the news maybe once a week, and you know, you really didn't care. You know what I mean? You really didn't care. You were focused on your life. You were focused on on you, right? But now, because everybody has social medias, now you're not even looking for this stuff, and you're just being bombarded with so much media, so much news, so much stuff. You're being overstimulated. You're being overloaded with news, and we already know how the news works. It's never ever good. You know what I'm saying? So you're literally being overloaded with garbage through your social medias. This is why, for many years, I've said, do not carry the social medias on your phone. Only GPS and music. But you know, people don't listen to the champ. So I left this comment, right? Let me break it down for you. What is the gist of this video, right? So you get some value right off the rip within 5 minutes. Hold on. You know, I know how to barely use the smartphone, and you know, my smartphone is old, and you know, I'm not buying another one. I am never giving these people no $500, $700 for a phone, ever. I said that 10 years ago, and that is never, ever gonna change. I am never giving Spotify or SoundCloud or none of these clowns a dime. That shit could be 99 cents, and I will still never give them a dime. But let me read you the comment I left here, right? Let your brain remember boredom. That's a quote from this guy. At the end of the video, he says, let your brain remember boredom. What a good line. What a great line. Because if you're like an OG, if you're like Generation X or a millennial, 35 to 45, you remember life before social media. You remember life when there was boredom. And in my opinion, I love boredom. I love a boring life. I love my boring life. Let your brain remember boredom. That's a great line. I agree. That's why I never downloaded social media on any phone. GPS and music only. I use and work tech. I'm very, very good with tech. I use it every day to get paid. But I don't need it in my pocket 24/7. Nobody does. I knew it would be very distracting and unsafe. Now I know a whole lot more because now I've actually seen social media. But I knew from the start. I'm like, this phone and all this stuff in my pocket, notifications, bling, bling. I had that shit for like less than a week. I had Facebook on my phone. You know, because, you know, back in like 2010, 2011, that was like the first social media, right? Before Instagram, before all this stuff, right? Before even YouTube, Facebook was like the first one that people used on their phone, right? I had that shit for less than a week. I was like, bling, bling, bling. I'm like, well, who are all these people? What are these companies? Why does this shit keep blinging? I didn't even know how to control the notifications. I didn't even know how to shut them off, right? I'm like, delete. I don't even want to know how to... I didn't even think about that you could shut off the notifications. I just deleted the whole app. And I never went back. I've never had social medias on my phone. I got my shit to get paid. I am not there to play around and bullshit. This has music and GPS, and I use the social medias. I'm not saying like I'm a hermit and I don't use social media. Like obviously I'm on YouTube and social medias, right? And I'm very, very good with social media, right? To get paid. But I am not there to fuck around, to get notifications, to get likes and comments. And, you know, when YouTube stopped paying me, I was out. Even before that, I never, ever, all my stuff is recorded on a camera, like a real camera. Hold on. Let me go find you. Hold on, people. Let me go find you. The collection of cameras that I was looking through, like, just a little while ago. Hold on, people. I have never ever used a camera on a smartphone in my life. Hashtag no lie. You already know I got like a collection of flip phones, a collection of smartphones. Hold on. We're going to get to everything in a minute. I'm going to read you everything in a minute. But this is my original camera. And someone, when I used to, hold on, people. When I used to make a lot of videos on, on YouTube back in the day when I used to make the boxing videos, I would burn them out because I would make so many videos, and all my videos were made with these $100 cameras. There you go. I got another one over here. Cheap. Now the camera I'm using now is like $500, but I cracked YouTube for thousands of dollars with this silver one, right? Which broke. I just kept it because for memories and stuff, right? But let me read you. Let's get back to the point of what I was saying, right? Let your brain remember boredom. That's a great line. I agree. That's why I never ever downloaded social media on any phone, GPS and music only. I use and work with tech, but I don't need it in my pocket 24/7. I knew it would be very distracting and unsafe. In New York City, someone gets run over by a car every week for playing on the phone. Every week you hear it on the news. Another person got run over in Brooklyn, in Queens, in Manhattan. Every week. And it's always, they don't always say it's because of playing on the phone, but you know it's because of playing on the phone. You know what I mean? You have like 10 million cars everywhere, 10 trillion fucking people, massive congestion. You better be alert. That's why I repeat all the time in all my videos, stay alert, stay paranoid. So, I started seeing the news back in the day, like 2010, 2011. I'm like, another one run over by a car. Another lady got run over. Another man got run over. A family got run over. Because they're playing on the phone. They don't have to say it. I know why. Because those things didn't happen before the phones. Before social media, before all these smartphones, those things, you never heard of those news in the local news. Okay, so let's go on. In New York City, someone gets run over by a car every week for playing on the phone. I use a flip phone when I'm out, and I leave the smartphones in the car for GPS and music only. Recently, I started using burned CDs because the music apps have too many ads. SoundCloud has like 15 ads per song now. They keep trying to push me to pay them. I'm never ever paying these people a dime. Not a dollar. It could be 99 cents a month or a dollar a year. I am never paying these people a dime. I've never used Uber or any of the popular apps either. I don't need a weird strangers coming to my house. I can pick up McDonald's myself. I don't even eat McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's anymore. Like, when I want McDonald's, if I want KFC or a pizza, I could just drive there. You know what I mean? Like, why would I have some crazy little weirdo Indian Pakistani that just got here yesterday? I don't even know who this nigga is. He might be a terrorist. I don't want him knocking on my door with like playing on his phone like I got your order. I don't want them dropping shit off in front of my door. I don't want none of these people around me. I could just go to Walmart and buy eggs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand how lazy people have just become. Because they just become. All these apps make people stupid and lazy and unsafe because they want to be cool. Just because monkey see, monkey do, just because somebody is doing something don't mean that you have to be a monkey too. I said that 10 years ago. From the start, I said, I'm never paying $700 for a phone. That's another thing, is that you're paying to become stupid and lazy, and it's not free, and it's not cheap. These phone, you know your phone is like $700. That's why you gotta finance it. I'm like, finance a phone? I don't even want to finance a truck. How am I gonna finance a phone? Why would I finance a phone? This shit don't make no type of sense. You know what I mean? But most people are just monkey see, monkey do. I want to be a monkey too. You know what I mean? If monkeys just start jumping off a cliff, are you going to jump off a cliff? No. I'm like, bye-bye monkeys. I don't want to be a monkey too. I said that 10 years ago. From the start, I said, I'm never paying $700 for a phone. That's what they used to call us back in the day. Hold on. Ridiculous. Sometimes, now they're like $1,200. The newest iPhone is $1,200. What? $1,200? That's a whole lot of food. And back in the day when I used to smoke weed, I'm buying food and weed and bitches. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying a fucking phone for $1,200? I need tires on my truck. I'm going to spend $800 on tires so I can be safe. You know what I mean? My flip works perfectly fine. My flip was $20 when my first two flips were free. They gave them to me for free because, nobody wanted those, right? And because I was a long-term, customer. My latest flip that I bought like 4 years ago, this is another thing, the flips work forever. You don't have to upgrade, upload, download. You don't have to upgrade the system, the browser, none of that. That shit just works until you just drop it 100 times and it breaks, right? My flip works perfectly fine. The last one I bought 4 years ago for $29.99. For $30. 4 years ago. I want a new truck, not a phone. Snap back to reality. Back to life. Back to reality. Who knows that song? I can't remember the singer. But it's like a back in the 80s type of song. Back to life. Back to reality. You need to snap back to reality, son. Come back to boredom. You need boredom in your life. The more boring your life is, the better it will be. Shout out this guy. Shout out this channel. The Functional Melancholic. If you want to see the whole video, you know what I mean? It's a long video, but that's the theme of the video. Is that let your brain remember boredom. Let your brain is too overloaded. You know how like a computer or a phone, when it's too overloaded with too much memory, you're eating up the memory and it doesn't function well. It's just the buffering. It's just the buffering. Your brain is the same way. If you have too much social media, too much information, too much news, your brain is going to start buffering. You need to come back to reality, snap back to reality, and come back to boredom. And delete all this garbage from your brain. But first, delete all this garbage from your phone. Hashtag no lie.